Hey, After Buzzers, we've made it to week 2 with Dancing with the Stars, season 22, and we're going to be talking about farting for fees and making America great again or dance great again. Find out all of that and much more on tonight's After Show.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yo, 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 what's good? Thanks for joining us. It's Dancing with the Stars After Show, week 2, Latin night. And we've got our beautiful Diva Darv all the way from UK.
How you doing?
Let them know where they can find you because we're definitely missing you here at the studio.
I'm missing you guys, but I'll be back soon, so don't you worry. So keep those seats warm for me, babe. We'll be back together soon enough, but you can find me at Diva Darv on Instagram and on Twitter. And what's with this whole new Instagram thing? Is that a joke or is it really happening?
That whole notification thing, I feel like everyone wants to feel like a celebrity now. So since we're on the topic, make sure that you put me and Diva Darv's notifications on so you don't miss our posts. And
there you go.
And I'm your host, Rhavin with the V, McSweany here, and you can find me at B Stays Busy, Bizzy, on all social media platforms. So I just want to kind of jump in. I was feeling last night. I was feeling it a little. There was a lot. I feel like the judges.
I was a little underwhelmed from last week.
Yes. I was going to say either the judges were scoring a little more harsh or I think our contestants were not giving us as much as they gave us last week. But there was definitely a difference. Yeah, exactly.
It was a jump. It was a real jump. I think the excitement of the first week got everyone through, and then I think the reality of week 2 hit in.
Yes.
It was like, wow, this is consistently hard work. This isn't just 1 week. This is
exactly
how many weeks it is of continued hard work, and wow, this is a lot.
And exactly. And one of our AfterBuzzers, one of our super fans brought up a good notion. We were talking last week on Twitter, and they were saying the difference is first week, they've been practicing for 4 weeks prior. Then after that, it's just 1 week. It's 1 week rehearsal. So, that's a difference too, I think. Now it's down to the nitty gritty and they don't have 4 whole weeks to rehearse these routines. It's like you get 1 week and 1 week only. So now I think after this week.
Shows you everything.
Exactly. So for Latin night, we start off with Jodie and Keo and they did their samba.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Right, let me tell you, I have to go on with this one because I think it was underscored. Really
Yes, it was. But 1 second, Diva Darv, I think we're going to lose you for 1 second. We're going to try and fix this connection really quickly. We're going to bring you right back in. In the meantime, Jodie and Keo did the samba, and Jodie had a breakdown, during rehearsal, and she had to pull it together. And I feel like they did a good job. I do want to see some more hip movements. I need Jodie to loosen up just a little bit on the hips. I know she's got it, and that dress was banging. That gold dress was banging. So,
yes.
Yeah, did you like that?
I loved her gold dress. I thought that she had a really good salsa there. Her legs were great. She started off on her own, and then she had the 2 girls join her, troop members. That's pretty great stuff right there.
Right.
She wasn't in hold with her partner. She really went for it. And I thought it was a really good routine. Salsa is so hard. I hate dancing salsa. When I train, I cannot stand it. When I take lessons, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I do not. It's so hard.
What is the hard part to you, since you are...
The balance of the salsa, it's like a whole different ball game. It's really just not, for me as a dancer, my entire life, it's not the most natural thing, which is kind of odd to say as a dancer.
Right.
So to watch her doing it and it not to look awkward, to me, is outstanding because I look super awkward and I'm a professional dancer.
I find that very hard to believe, but I'll let you tell it.
I'm being serious here, but like, and her end position with the legs, her legs look great.
Yes. And I want her, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to her moving a little more and letting loose a little more and stop being so hard on herself, because anything that happens during rehearsal.
Seeing her kind of get at herself so much, I was like, get out your head, girlfriend.
Exactly.
I know you want to win, but this is week 2.
You can't be bringing that on the dance floor, So let's see. Lynn Goodman said it was hot enough, better than last week, so that was progress. Bruno, he said flashing, flaming goddess, and he wanted her to be a little more free. I think that was probably more in the hip movements as well. And then Carrie Ann said more relaxed and comfortable. She was a little pent up. So I think that kind of goes with what, I agree with all those points as far as, letting loose. But I still feel like she's got a lot more to give. So I'm excited to see that.
Definitely. Great job, though.
Yeah, overall, I think it was a great job. I definitely feel that she's going to keep Keo in the game for a little longer, even though it's about the stars and not the professionals. But I'm rooting for Keo to stay longer.
I know. It's already made it better than he ever has done. So
Exactly.
pretty right now.
Thank you very much. So the score is Carrie Ann gave them a 7, Lynn gave them a 7, and Bruno gave them a 7, scoring it up for 21 out of 30, which is actually 1 point more than what they got last week. So progression all the way around. And I think we may have lost Diva Dar for a second. We'll get her back. We're going to move on to Marla and Tony. They did the Argentine tango, which is very sexy. Yes, we moved on to Marla and Tony. But before I do that, Diva, are you with us?
I am with you.
Okay,
yes.
Good. And you sound super crisp. I was saying they ended up getting 21 out of 30, Jodie and Keo. And last week they got 20 out of 30, so 1 point better than last week. Progression, it's always good.
That's good. I mean, I think they could have had an 8 in there, but it's still early on. So
I did too. So next was Marla and Tony doing the Argentine tango, and Marla is so funny with her health consciousness.
Yeah.
She's so cute.
It's working, clearly.
Yeah, it is. It is. Watching it for me, this routine, it seemed a little choppy for me, but I could be completely, ignorant to the style of this particular dance.
I think you're right on that one.
Because everyone else seemed like it was really great. So I was just like, oh, I must know nothing about this particular dance. But it just seemed a little choppy. I don't know if she was ahead of the beat or below the beat or something. I mean, her legs look great, but it was a little choppy for me. What do you think, Diva Darv?
I think it was just, obviously she's got great legs, and Tony was really playing to that. And I honestly think that there's only so much the legs can do.
Right.
And it's really just all about that. And I get that the tango, you can really go for those foot movements and all of that. It was a great effort, but I don't know. There was just a bit of stability missing for me.
Right. Which was different because the judges I feel like they felt the opposite of what I felt, because all 3 of them said something about perfection. And Lynn said it was lacking a little seduction and intimacy. So I don't know if I was counting her steps or what, so that might have, made me not focus so much on the intimacy part. But Bruno said she maintained to perfection, a little detachable, which I think is what we kind of basically both brought up just a minute ago. And Carrie Ann said suited her perfect, and she just wants her to work on more angles. And I was like, okay, that's different.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think there was just it was a little bumpy at times.
Right. That's exactly how I felt, and I saw that firsthand, just being an observer watching the performance, not being a professional judging the technique. But the scores: Carrie Ann gave her a 7, Lynn gave her 6, and Bruno gave her 7, and gave them. It's not just about Marla; it's collective effort. So they got 20 out of 30. And that's actually 1 point less than what they got last week. Last week, they got 21 out of 30. So, I mean, I guess there's a little bit of work to do, but they're still in the same realm. I think when you're in the 20s, I think you're doing okay. Right. Exactly.
But she's on the right track, definitely.
Yeah.
And she's got the will to be there. So that's half the battle done. You know what I mean?
Exactly. What did you think of this next bit, making dance great again with Geraldo and Edyta?
I actually have in my notes no words. Next. I don't mean to be mean, but I mean it wasn't really a routine, was it? It was just a great use of props and everything else, but in terms of dance, there was lack of dance there.
Right.
You know, and the problem is, you know, I think Edyta is a great dancer, but when you're on this show, the way to stay on the show is to, you know, ensure that your partner is involved in everything.
Right.
It's not about you as the professional. It's about the collective, like we just discussed.
Exactly.
And I think that was missing. Although he might not be the most technical dancer, he still might have had something to offer. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't think she necessarily gave him the opportunity to do that and was just like, you just put me here and I'll do that and I'll dance around you.
Yes.
And I think that unfortunately, that's not the way to go about it. You have to try and find, no matter how, you know, lacking you think your partner may be, your challenge as the professional is to find their niche, their talent, something that they can do well and bring that out. You know?
I agree. I tried to put nothing but positive stuff on my notes for this routine, so let me share my positive notes.
Please do.
Geraldo moved his feet more than last week. He did. He did. It was better than last week. And I agree with you. Edyta, you know, she was doing a lot of movement, you know, around him. And it was already a lot to consume enough with the whole Donald Trump thing. And then the Spanish, I don't know what was going on. But I don't know what the whole background was going on. I get the beginning part, but towards the end, I was like, well, where did that come from? So that kind of threw me off a little bit, but I give him props. He moved more than last week, so I was happy to see that. And I feel like if he had maybe a partner that would have kind of pushed him a little more instead of just like, just let me do it, maybe we would have seen a little more from him in the weeks to come if we had the chance.
Exactly.
But it is what it is. So
it is what it is.
Carrie Ann, she said, didn't make dance great again. She was like, I don't know about all that, but it was definitely funny. And she also agreed that it was better than last week. Lynn, what was that word he said? Was it tromboy? I didn't get a chance to look it up. If any of our AfterBuzzers knows that word, it would be great to get some feedback on that one, because it must not be anything good. I can't see that it would be.
Really has anything good to say.
But Lynn really did appreciate his effort, so that was nice. And then Bruno, he said it was impressive for all the wrong reasons. So I thought that was sweet too. And I was like, everyone's trying to be nice, and I get that. And like, he's 72, so yes, good for you, Geraldo. Get it.
Exactly.
Scoring. Carrie Ann gave them a 5. Lynn gave them a 4, and Bruno gave them a 4, rounding that up for 13, which was the exact amount of points they got last week. 13 out of 30. There's nothing much, I guess, to say about that. So moving along, my girl, which another one of our AfterBuzzers brought up, she's our youngest on our contestant panel this season, Paige. She's 21, I believe. Shout out to Damien for pointing that out. Paige and Mark doing the salsa, looking pretty in pink.
Yeah. And Mark hurt himself in camera block doing that. It's ironic because I was actually just messaging him because I was like, babe, I'm on AfterBuzz tonight. What's going on? How are you doing? And he's still waiting for his results.
Oh my gosh, that is so hectic. Yes.
But he did it in camera block, doing not even the difficult lift, doing like the one under the legs.
Exactly. It was like, I guess when he was pulling her under something happened in that moment. Well, shout out to you, Mark. We hope you get better. We hope you get better. We hope to see you. But Alan definitely subbed in and did his thing.
He learned that in 2 hours?
Yes, honey. 2 hours. Talk about skilled.
That looked amazing. They looked like they'd been doing that together for like weeks on end.
Exactly.
Their chemistry was fantastic.
You couldn't tell that she was nervous or anything for having a new partner at all.
And those lifts were really like great. I thought they didn't look any way like there was any issues with them whatsoever, considering obviously she had done them a couple of times with him.
Right.
They looked fab. She's fearless. Absolutely fearless.
She is.
And I really enjoy her. I think she's got a fantastic personality and just a great attitude.
That's awesome. It was hot. It was spicy. Her footwork was on point. It was on point. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I was getting lost. I was totally in a trance just watching her foot placement. And
I know.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I said I wanted more. Like when it was over,
yes.
I wanted more.
It did seem like it was a snippet. I don't know, because it was going so fast and it was just so cute, and so I was ready for Paige. She definitely made her way into my winner's circle for this week, because I think I was all about the guys last week.
Yeah, this week she took it to a new level, and she definitely for me is in the game.
Yes, she's in it to win it. And so Lynn told her best dance so far of the season. Okay, that's a lot coming from Lynn Goodman.
Yeah, Lynn doesn't dish out those compliments willy-nilly, let me tell you.
It's like pulling teeth trying to get those out of him. And Bruno said great lifts and spins. He loved the music too. Well, he said that she went ahead of the music. She needs to kind of slow down a little bit. And I noticed that in the beginning. She was a little excited. But I'm like, if that's all you have to worry about, honey, you are doing good.
Exactly. That was a really full-on routine. There was so much in it. It was non-stop action, like non-stop. Mark did not give her a second to catch her breath. And he didn't amend it, clearly, from him to Alan.
Exactly.
Which is another thing to mention, because, if you're not dancing with your partner and you've been practicing that for a while,
right.
chances are you're going to take a few things out. But they didn't. You can tell.
Exactly.
That routine was action-packed.
I know.
And that just shows you what a trooper Paige is. So, people should get behind her just for that.
Exactly. That speaks volumes.
Week 2, she took on a new partner with her routine.
And still killed it. And still destroyed, as Carrie Ann said. You destroyed it.
Yeah.
So with all of those wonderful pointers, she got 8. They got an 8 from Carrie Ann, an 8 from Lynn, and an 8 from Bruno, scoring them 24 out of 30, which is 3 points more than what they did last week. So that's real progression right there, because last week they got 21 out of 30. So they were the first highest score of the evening. I was happy.
That's awesome. That's a really good score.
Yeah, seriously. Super happy about that. One note to our engineer, I cannot see. I can't read our chat room notes. If you could zoom that in for me a little bit so I can try and incorporate some of our AfterBuzz's thoughts. I love you very much. Thank you very much. Our 8th couple was Mischa and Artem. And this one I got a little down. This one kind of like killed my vibe. Because during rehearsal, Mischa was she was just being really negative, and I could feel the energy through the television screen. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was being so down on herself, and I'm like, no, Mischa, you can't do that. Like, you're literally going to roll that over to when you actually have to perform. I'm sorry, I missed you. What'd you say?
She really did roll that over to the performance, let me tell you.
Right, and then I think there was something going on for the actual... the live rehearsal or something. They made it seem like it was different music, or she couldn't hear the music, something to that extent, where it was like all brand new all over again. And she was like, I couldn't even get it right in rehearsal, so let alone with all these new elements. So for that, the effort was there.
I'm not gonna kind of. Everyone has the same advantages or disadvantages to each other. You know, you rehearse to a track throughout the week,
right?
And yes, there is a live band. I understand that there's a live band that goes. So you rehearse to whatever song that it is you're rehearsing to, and then you hear the band when you do camera block or perhaps a bit before that. But to be honest with you, when you know your routine and you have it solidly in your body, that's really, to me, not an excuse enough.
Touche.
For your routine to not be on point.
Touche.
So,
because I was like, what do you mean? Was it a completely different song? Like, that's how she was making it sound, and I was a little confused. Because they don't really let us listen to the music during the packages, you know, the rehearsal. We don't hear the music.
Yeah, sure. But regardless of that, I just really think that she's really in her head. She was really just all over the place. Her balance is really off. I didn't feel like she was 100% in the choreography either. Like she knew 100% what she was doing, so she could really attack it at full force. It was just, you know, it was a little disappointing. You know, I just didn't feel like she brought her A game.
I agree. I feel like that's probably going to affect her ability to shine and rise in this competition. So hopefully she can shake that off and shake a new leaf and shake a tail feather.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I don't see her going too far. Which I know that was one of Jeff's favorite people. I think it was Mischa and Jodie. Yeah, I think those were his two favorite people.
She'll be shaking the tail feather out of here if she doesn't get it.
Yeah, so let's liven up, Mischa. Come on, baby. Carrie Ann, you know, said she was proud. I think, to say the least, she was just trying to give her the, you know, pat on the shoulder. She was proud that with all the elements that could have been distracting her, she did a good job. And she enjoyed seeing her. She said, you looked fun, you looked lively, which to me, I completely disagree. She looked completely bothered. Her smile was tight-lipped. She looked like, this is some BS. Like, that's, like, the smile that she had on her face the whole time was just kind of like, you know, it didn't seem completely genuine. I can tell she was bothered. And
like, I'm on national television, so I'm going to give you a smile, but I don't really want to.
Yes.
She didn't look like she's trusting in Artem either.
Yeah, that's what it was. I felt bad for him too.
Yeah, and when you're doing this kind of performing, especially in this realm, your partner is everything. If you don't have that connection with your partner and that trust with your partner, you are doomed. You are absolutely doomed, because even the breaths that you take, when you breathe together.
Right.
You know, when you move together. But there is this, like, it has to be this connection that you guys have. Otherwise, forget about it. So hopefully they can figure that out, because that's half the battle right there. Right.
You know what? I just realized that they were not the next people that danced. I looked at my notes wrong, but
It's all right.
We're gonna. Yeah, I was like, hold on, but yes, that's so. Now I'm gonna give you guys the correct. Oh, a little tidbit. When Aaron, you know, before they get their scores and they asked them how they felt about the performance, and she asked Mischa, and you know, when Mischa was just basically saying A, B, C, and D of these are all the reasons why it didn't go right, I was looking at Artem and the look on his face. I felt really bad for him, you know, because a lot of times people, even if there are X amount of problems, they're not going to say it. They're like, oh, we'll do better next week. You know, it is what it is. But she's just like, well, you know, if we couldn't get it right in rehearsals, no way we were going to get it right, you know, for the real thing. And I was just like, you're still bringing it down. Stop.
Oh, bless.
Yeah. So, scores for them. Carrie Ann they all gave them 5s, giving them 15 out of 30. And that actually is 1 point less than last week, because they got 16 out of 30 last week. So
I had here that they got 5, 4, 4. Was I wrong?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I thought they got a 5 and then 2 4s. Was I wrong on that?
Ooh, I put 2 5s. I'm not sure now. You got me questioning myself. I have them having 15 though, so either way, it was bad, okay?
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Yeah, I have 544. I think that's what it was. But either way,
Okay.
it wasn't the best.
Well, then that means it was even lower than last week. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
We have some of our AfterBuzzers saying they got 3 5s. So whether it was 3 5s, 2 4s, and a 5, it wasn't enough to really cut it. So I really would like for her to just step her mental game up. It's all in her head. It's all in her head. So if she wants to stick around, which I hope she does, hopefully she gets her mind right.
Exactly.
Exactly. So let's move on to Antonio and Sharna. Boomin'.
I love them.
I do too. I think one of our AfterBuzzers last week was saying they felt that there was something to him that he wasn't being open about. And I still didn't see it. I mean, I don't know if it's the smiley face, but I like it. I like his smiley face. It exudes confidence. And I think this rumba was sexy and fluid and steamy. Honey, I was over here. My screen was fogging up just a little, okay? And the song selection, Adorn, it was really nice to me. I liked it.
I loved it. By the way, I think you were right. It was all 5 for the previous one.
Okay.
But in regards to this routine, oh my God, it was so hot. All I put was hot, hot, hot. He knows how to showcase the woman.
Yes, honey.
Yeah, like he just literally was the frame to Sharna and just absolutely showcased her off beautifully, made her look absolutely stunning. Their connection from last week to this week is honestly, it looks like they've had like 7 months in training, because to me, the difference from last week to this week in terms of that connection is outstanding.
Yes, I completely agree. The chemistry.
So I was a bit, last week I was a bit like, I was expecting them to have a little bit more chemistry, but this week they absolutely nailed it on that front for me. I felt like I was watching an intimate, relationship dance that was just so out there and fantastic, versus last week I was just a bit like underwhelmed. So I thought they did a great job. I know he didn't do that much content in terms of it being a rumba,
right.
But as the guy, I think he really held the frame very nicely and really showcased his woman, which, is ultimately the objective. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was steamy, hot, everything a rumba should be.
Right.
And I'm excited to see him next week.
With all that being said, which I agree with you 100%, I was a little surprised by the scoring for this routine. Bruno said he's blessed and gifted with all the right equipment. I was like, yes. He wants more movement, though. Carrie Ann said good chemistry needs sturdy frame. I guess I could agree with that once I actually think about the technique of the matter. And Lynn, he said the dancer is inside. He's like, there's a dancer inside. He just lacks a little finesse. So, we were all hot and steamy over it, but I'm like, okay, well, they're not really feeling it that much.
I think it was just a lack of content on his part. Sharna was doing a lot more work than he was in terms of the actual content of the rumba. He was doing more, she was probably doing, how do I explain this? So many moves to an 8 count, and he was probably doing half of that, if that.
Right. We have some of our AfterBuzzers chatting with us, talking about Antonio's smile. Is that Star 51 said it looked a little creepy last week, and then I think Trini Boy, he was the one that said it didn't look too genuine, and then someone else said it might be because his smile is super white and super noticeable. I'm like, it could be all of these things. But good teeth gets me every time. What'd you say?
This week, I thought it looked super genuine. And the ending, the ending was super hot, by the way. When Sharna put her arms up, and oh my God, I was like, guys, you need to take it to the bedroom. Right.
I'm telling you, I had to mist myself, pat my face down. It was a little hot and bothered there. So the score is Carrie Ann gave them a 6. Lenny gave them a 6 and Bruno gave them a 7. I was thinking they would at least get all 7s. I mean, bare minimum. But that gave them a total of 19 out of 30, which is actually a few points lower than last week because they got 21 out of 30 last week. And I don't know about you guys viewing or listening in. Do you guys feel that the judges were scoring a little harsher than normal this week? Because I do. I don't know. Let's zoom through. We still have a few more. So Kim and Sasha doing the salsa. This was cute during rehearsal because she got to FaceTime with Gloria Esteban. So she was getting she got her feelings hurt and, got a little emotional. But Sasha got Gloria on FaceTime and got her groove back. And I think the routine was exciting. The footwork was a little lost, but it was still an exciting performance for me. What do you think, Diva Darv?
I love Kim. Her energy, her facials. She has such a vibrance about her that I'm just all about. And I just adore seeing Sasha and her together. I think they are a perfect couple. She did mess up, I think, and lost herself towards the end of the routine because by the end, it looked like Sasha was trying to get her to the end. At the end of the routine, It looks like she kind of messed up. But apart from that, I thought she did fantastic. She has such a great energy about her that I'm just all about.
Right. I agree too. Those legs keep going though. Which Carrie-Ann enjoyed the footwork, and she called her. She said she had Tina Turner legs. Shout out to Tina Turner legs.
I love Tina.
Yeah, seriously, that's actually a really good compliment from anybody. Because Tina does the treadmills and those high heels. Lynn Goodman doesn't hold back, so he gave her some positivity there. Bruno, cover your mistakes. Basically, learn to cover your mistakes. When you make a mistake in performing, just keep it going. Keep it moving. Yeah. And that scored them a 19 out of 30. Carrie-Ann gave them a 7. Lynn gave them a 6. And Bruno gave them a 6. 1 point shy of what they earned last week, which was 20 out of 30. So I think, there's some work to do. Next was Nyle and Peta doing the rumba. I was a little underwhelmed. I'm not gonna lie, because last week they exploded out of the gate for me last week.
Yeah.
This week was nice. It was very romantic. It was, it was beautiful, but I don't know. It didn't bring that extra oomph for me.
For a rumba, I thought it was a way too hectic.
Yeah.
Rumba, there's a breath in the rumba that I don't think was necessarily honored in this routine. It's like you have to take that breath, that minute, and ooze into your... I wish Shirley Ballas was on the show right now to kind of give us that absolute,
Yeah, exactly.
detail into the rumba. But seriously, there's just... When you sit into it, you can give it the fastness, and you can have the syncopatedness, and you can have those sharp moments, but it really does have this ooziness, this breath about it, which gives it that sensuality, and I felt that it was just a little bit too hectic.
Yeah.
But that being said, outstanding what this man is doing. Right?
Oh, across the board.
His confidence, his just, his attack, his lunges, his legs, what he's giving us is absolutely outstanding for week 2. I'm just being extra panicky because what we've seen in week 1, he's already set the bar for us,
He did. He set it really high.
He's set the standard.
And I'm going to kind of skip through what the judges said because we kind of all watched it together. But the most important thing, I think they were talking about his lines. Don't cut off his lines. So elongate those. And what was the lift? They were talking about this lift, and I was a little lost for that moment. Did you miss that, or did you see it?
Maybe her second foot came off the floor slightly. Okay. Carrie-Ann is the lift police.
Right.
So if you're doing a small kind of like you put a leg up and do a spin and the leg moves off the other foot, the supporting foot comes off the floor slightly. Carrie-Anne sees that as a lift.
Okay, got it. Thank you. See, I needed someone who was professional in this.
Pull it up online now. I feel like I need to pull it up online now.
Okay. While you're doing that, we're going to skip over to Witney, the farter. She cashed in some money for him being late, for him farting, for him taking breaks. It was just cha-ching after cha-ching, and their dance was a cha-cha. For me, I didn't see much cha-chaing, if that's even a word. The dance was cute, but I didn't see any cha-chas, like movements or, like little footworks here and there, but I didn't get it at all.
I agree. So I just pulled it up online, and I think if she means the list, going back, Nyle and Peta, it was right at the beginning. And it was just when she did the spin, and that was ridiculous if she pulled out.
Okay.
But I totally agree with you in regard to Witney and Von. Like, this isn't the freestyle section of the show. We're in week 2.
Right.
And you're given a cha-cha. You need to give the audience a cha-cha.
Exactly.
I thought that was hip hop.
Exactly.
It's all well and good, having elements of someone's personality, but the whole point of Dancing with the Stars is to see people that aren't Latin and ballroom dancers do Latin and ballroom.
Exactly. I agree.
If we wanted to see him do what he does at the end zone, then we would just tune in and watch him do what he does for a living.
Exactly.
But we're watching him on Dancing with the Stars. So I really hope, because Witney is 100% capable, that she actually maybe puts him in legit Latin and ballroom attire.
Right.
So that he gets into that zone and makes him do it from start to finish, because all of this like breaking into hip hop is not giving him the mentality of what he's about and what he needs to be doing.
Right.
And I think it's a cop-out, I'm sorry to say. And I really think they both, if anyone's capable, it's Witney. Firstly, hello, she's a superstar firecracker of a dancer.
Right.
And I feel like one has the ability. So it's like, come on, guys, let's do this. Let's stop mucking around.
Exactly.
And let's give everyone what they want to see.
I agree with you 100%. We need to start rapping soon, but quickly, I was surprised they got 7. So, Carrie-Anne 7, Lynn 6, Bruno 7, giving them a 20 out of 30, which is 1 point less than what they got last week. So I hope to see all those changes that we talked about in the weeks to come for them. Speaking of dressing the part and being the part, Wanya and Lindsay was next, and that's what he wants to do. He just wants to look like a dancer. He wants to be a dancer from head to toe, mentally, physically, and it shows. And he puts through the effort. They did the salsa, and it was so fun watching it. The footwork was on point. So much energy and excitement. I loved it immensely. And Wanya cannot do any wrong. He just can do no wrong with me.
You can't, no. Are you kidding me? I put, oh my God, are you kidding me in my notes?
Right.
Light on his feet, dynamic, fast, rhythmic, fun, flirty, leading Lindsay, legitimately leading her, not, he 100% knew what he was doing. There was light and shade. It was outstanding. That man clearly works extremely hard.
Exactly.
On top of that, has natural rhythm. He's got star quality. He is a star.
Yes.
But he is bringing it to the ballroom.
And shout out to the 15 pounds he's lost so far. So for this routine, exactly, which he's going to lose a lot more, I'm sure. So this routine scored them 24 out of 30. Carrie-Anne gave them, they got 8s all across the board. They got 23 last week. So they're a point ahead of the game. I have nothing to say about them. I'm not worried about them at all. So let's move on to Doug and Karina really quickly. Paso Doble. I actually was very excited about his progress because last week it was really hard for me to watch. This week he exuded much strength and it was a lot better. There was a lot of masculinity and I was really proud to see it. I was very happy for that. Any quick thoughts?
Agree.
Really quick thoughts?
For the drama factor, definitely a 10.
Yeah.
Most improved from last week. I loved Karina's use of the truth, the use of the lights, the drama. She knows how to choreograph and make someone look good. And that's the reason why she's still in the game and not being rude, but just being honest, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Edyta is not in the game.
Yeah, that's what it is. Maybe she'll be better, next season or whatnot. But 2 7s and a 6. Lynn was the one that gave the 6, and that gave them 20 out of 30. That was like the biggest jump of progression as far as points this evening, because they got 15 out of 30 last week. So they jumped to 20 this week. So kudos, shout out to you, Doug and Karina. Keep it going. Our last was Ginger and Val doing the samba. Honestly, first of all, just aesthetically, I wasn't a fan of the dress. And I thought it was very cutesy. I know Val was trying to get some sexy, seductiveness out of her. And I didn't see that at all. It was still very cute. Nothing's wrong with that, but I didn't find the sex appeal of her energy at all. But I love her legs.
I thought she was super cute. I love her personality. I know what you're saying about the sex appeal, but there's something about her that is just so endearing to me. It's just like she could stand out there and just stand there and look at me, and I would just be like, "You're amazing."
Yeah, she thinks her name should be Sugar, not Ginger.
I know. She really is sweet. She really is, and I just love her energy, and I did think it was a great routine. I thought she did a great job. I think she always brings it, actually.
Yeah. I thought it was, I don't know, I just saw real adorable and cute, and I'm like, hey, get it, girl. And I'm like, ooh, wow.
I mean, samba is hard, and I thought she did a really good job. She's had 2 really difficult dances. She had jive last week, and then she had samba this week. And she's not making them look as hard as they are. So that in itself
that
is
takes skill.
A huge accomplishment.
That does. So Carrie Ann, they got 7s all across the board from all the judges, giving them 21 out of 30, which is a little less than last week. They got 23 out of 30. But that's another couple that I'm not worried about. I think they're doing well, and I don't see them in any trouble. So our 3 bottom couples were Mischa and Artem, Geraldo and Edyta, and Doug and Karina, sending Geraldo home, which makes much sense in this point in the game, the competition, that was the best one to send home.
Agreed. We don't need any surprise eliminations week
Exactly.
1. Thank you very much.
Exactly. So let's jump into predictions really quickly. Sorry we're running behind. There's so much to cover and so much juice
Your
to gather.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right. What do you feel, Diva? We've got 60 seconds.
Predictions for what? The finals or next week?
Next week. Next week is our most memorable year. That's our theme.
So who's going to get eliminated?
Yeah.
Or who's staying?
Or either or. Whatever you feel is going to be coming up.
I reckon unless Mischa gets it together, I think she's going to be going home.
Okay. I completely agree with you. I finally have a girl in my winner's circle. Last week, I was talking about Nyle and Wanya, and now I've got Paige in there. So, woo woo. And yeah, I also agree, Mischa. So hopefully she gets it together mentally. That's our time. And sorry we went a little over, but I am your girl, Rhavin with a V, McSweany. You can find me at B Stays Busy. And it's been great. And where can they find you, Diva Darv?
At Diva Darv on Instagram and on Twitter. And yeah, good times, guys. I can't wait for next week.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, that's our show. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week, guys. Have a good week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.